Promotion to the Premier League is often called the richest prize in football, which is slightly strange because the winner does not receive a giant check on the Wembley pitch. The players lift a trophy, spray champagne, and spend the next 10 minutes avoiding the owner, who is already calculating next season's wage budget. For a club without parachute payments, Deloitte estimated that promotion in 2026 would create a revenue uplift of at least £205 million across the following 3 seasons. Survive the first Premier League season, and that value could rise beyond £365 million. That makes the Championship playoff final financially larger than many cup finals, even though the trophy itself looks like something a hotel uses to serve fruit. Where does £205 million come from? Most of it is access to the Premier League's television and central commercial money. The current domestic broadcast agreement alone is worth £6.7 billion across 4 seasons, with international rights adding another enormous pool. A promoted club receives an equal share of major distributions, facility fees when its matches are selected for television, and a merit payment linked to league position. Even the team finishing last enters a financial world the Championship cannot approach. In 2024/25, Southampton finished bottom and still collected about £109 million in Central Premier League payments. A typical Championship club received roughly £11 million from its basic award and Premier League solidarity payment. Promotion can therefore increase central income by close to £100 million in a single season, before the club sells one extra shirt. It is the workplace version of receiving a new title, and discovering the salary has gained 2 zeros. My promotions usually arrive with a new responsibility and a team's message saying the company appreciates me. Football has apparently negotiated better. The important word in Deloitte's estimate is revenue, though. Nobody is promising £205 million of profit. The club has simply been allowed into a much richer economy, and everybody it negotiates with knows exactly what happened. The central payments create only the first layer. Premier League membership makes sponsorship inventory more valuable because the club is suddenly visible around the world. A local company that paid to reach Championship viewers may be joined by international brands wanting exposure in Asia, Africa, and North America. The same shirt, advertising board, or training kit partnership can command more money once matches are distributed globally. Matchday income rises through stronger demand and more expensive hospitality, particularly when Liverpool or Arsenal comes to town. Clubs sometimes add seating, improve corporate areas, or increase ticket prices because the waiting list has suddenly become much longer. Merchandise receives a boost from the attention around promotion, and the club can arrange preseason tours or commercial partnerships that would have been unrealistic 1 year earlier. Deloitte combines those broadcast, matchday, and commercial increases rather than pretending the league hands over £205 million on day 1. Timing matters because some of the value arrives after relegation. If a promoted club goes straight back down, parachute payments provide 2 further seasons of support. The first payment is roughly 55% of the equal broadcast share the club would have received in the Premier League, followed by a lower percentage in year 2. A team that survives keeps receiving full Premier League distributions instead, which is why staying up pushes the estimated value beyond £365 million. The first season is therefore worth more than the income shown in that year's accounts. It opens a route to future payments and changes what lenders believe the club can afford. This also affects the club's valuation. An investor buying a Championship team is purchasing the possibility of Premier League revenue. Once promotion happens, that possibility becomes a contracted share of one of sport's richest competitions. The badge has not changed, and the stadium may still have the same leaking roof, but expected cash flows look completely different. Owners who wanted to sell may suddenly ask for far more money, because the buyer is acquiring access to future broadcast distributions as well as the football club. There is an uncomfortable side to all this money. Promotion gives a club the resources to improve, then immediately places it in a league where nearly everybody already has those resources. The new arrival must decide how much future income can safely be spent now. Existing players expect promotion bonuses and improved contracts. New signings want Premier League wages, while agents know the club just received the biggest financial upgrade of its life. A player who cost £8 million in May can somehow become a £20 million conversation in June because the selling club has also read Deloitte. The promoted team may spend £100 million and still begin with one of the cheapest squads in the division. Recruitment then becomes a decision about two possible futures. Contracts need to help the club compete in the Premier League while remaining survivable in the Championship. Relegation wage reductions protect the finances, yet a player choosing between two offers may prefer the club guaranteeing his salary. A team can recruit cautiously and increase the risk of going down. It can commit aggressively and carry an expensive squad down with it. Promotion money creates opportunity, while encouraging the exact decisions that make relegation dangerous. This pressure is visible before promotion as well. Championship clubs know one successful season can transform their revenue, so owners fund losses in pursuit of 3 available places. Deloitte found aggregate championship losses of £4.5 billion across 20 seasons. Clubs spend today because promotion might pay the bill tomorrow. I understand the logic. If my manager said closing one extra Gira ticket could increase my salary by £205 million, that ticket would receive the most comprehensive regression testing in human history. I would test it on browsers that have not been invented yet. The problem is that every ambitious championship club is staring at the same prize. Most will finish the season with the expense and none of the Premier League money. Promotion can rescue a risky plan, but treating it as guaranteed income is how a football club begins building a financial crisis around a league table. How much promotion is actually worth depends on the club's starting point and what happens after the celebration. A recently relegated team already receiving parachute payments gets a smaller uplift because promotion replaces money it was going to receive anyway. A club that has spent years outside the Premier League gains the full shock of the new revenue. Deloitte placed the minimum 2026 uplift for Hull City and Middlesbrough at roughly £205 to £210 million because neither was receiving parachute money. Survival adds another layer of value. While several seasons in the league can permanently change the stadium, academy, and global audience, Brighton and Brentford use promotion as the beginning of sustainable growth, gradually improving recruitment and commercial income. Other clubs collected the money, spent heavily, and returned to the Championship with a more complicated balance sheet. The difference is how much of the new revenue becomes a permanent improvement. Spending on a player may help survival, but his wages can become a burden after relegation. Investing in the academy or stadium can strengthen the club for longer, although supporters rarely want to hear about a new hospitality lounge while the defense is conceding twice every Saturday. The £205 million remains an estimate of extra revenue rather than cash available for the owner to withdraw. Wages consume a large part of it. Transfers require installments, and the club still has to operate. Promotion also brings costs that did not exist at the same scale in the Championship, from bonuses to facility upgrades required for Premier League broadcasting. The financial miracle is access, not free money. Win at Wembley, and the club enters football's richest distribution system. Stir up, and that one victory becomes a recurring income stream capable of changing the organization. Go down immediately, and parachute payments preserve part of the value, provided the club did not span the future before it arrived. That is why the playoff final can be worth more than £200 million, while the winner still needs to behave like somebody who understands money. A single promoted season can renovate the training ground, reshape the academy, and attract supporters who remain long after relegation. Used carefully, the money leaves the club stronger, even if the Premier League visit is brief. The match opens the vault. It does not stop the club setting fire to whatever it finds inside. That's it. That's all I have. Bye bye.